What's up everybody, welcome back to a brand new video on Lexalexus. Today we've got the second part of the Easter weekend for the Championship. We are predicting match day 41. Lots of stuff has happened in the past couple of days. Of course, Burnley got promoted. I live streamed my whole reaction to it. It was a stunning game between them and Middlesbrough. Blackpool have departed. Mick, McCarthy now with only 5 games left of the season. Seems a little bit bizarre to me, but a lot of stuff to break down. Obviously, I'll give you my reaction to the team's results alongside with me predicting the next batch of games, which will be happening 2 days time on the Monday. For the prediction league, I'm going to put a community post updating the latest standings, and I'm going to calculate the Premier League tonight because the Premier League games are playing as we speak right now. If you guys like what you see, please give a video a like. It just tremendously help the growth of this channel. Please do hit that subscribe button. It really does help me with what I do, and please also share the channel as well because all these things really help as well. Without any further ado, let's start predicting part 2 of the Easter Championship Marathon. The first game to predict is Huddersfield going up against Blackburn. Both teams with contrasting results. Huddersfield managed to get an astonishing 3-2 away victory against Watford. It was a dramatic game which saw Watford go down to 10 men in the end when they saw their goalkeeper Daniel Batman get red carded. But overall, Huddersfield, fair play to them, and I would credit Mr. Football for this stat. This is the first time in over a year when Huddersfield managed to get all 3 points from going behind away from home. That is an astonishing stat that it's taken this long for Huddersfield to do that. But it tells you the terrific job that Neil Warnock is doing to this Huddersfield team. They right now look like that they can beat anyone. Blackburn really should try and get a win here because right now their place in the top 6 is under threat. They lost their 6-pointer in the top 6 against Norwich, 2-0 quite convincingly in the end. If they lose this, they could really starting to slip away from that top 6. As a prediction, I've got more confidence with Huddersfield. They're scoring more goals. Blackburn conceding too many chances for my liking. I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory to Huddersfield. I've got a little bit more confidence in them going into this game. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game today is Birmingham versus Stoke. So, both teams managed to get something within the game. So, Birmingham managed to get a 1-1 draw with Reading away from home. Stoke were home to Bristol City where they lost by 2-1. Birmingham on the contrast managed to get a goal back for a comeback, but Stoke took the lead and they conceded 2 goals and then it got 0 points out of it. And it's so typical of Stoke. They look like that they're turning a corner, then one result just throws everything off, and this was that classic example there. With both these teams in a mid-table position, I think what we're going to start seeing is these games being a little bit more open or cagey. You know, there's no really in between where we seeing teams, you know, being on the beach and stuff. I think those are 2 teams that do fall under that category. And I'm wondering if it's going to be like Sunderland and Hull, which I consider those 2 teams being on the beach. And because of this, they don't have lots to play for. Their defence is a little bit more open. They play with a little bit more fun and encouragement, and the season is nearly ending. And ultimately, it means they can see more chances. They're more open, but they may score a couple more goals in the process. So for a prediction here, might be surprising, but I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. We don't typically see too many goals within these 2 sides when they play against each other, but I just got a feeling with it being 2 mid-table teams, nothing to play for, I think we're going to see 2 teams that are a little bit open. Let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. Next game today is Cardiff Sunderland. Cardiff had a fantastic win against Blackpool. It was a relegation 6-pointer, and now they've really started to have a little bit more optimism in terms of their survival from the drop. The only problem is now that Huddersfield have now improved their form and have pushed Reading back into the bottom 3, you know, that part of the table now becomes very, very competitive. So Cardiff are definitely not safe yet. They definitely need to try and do a job against Sunderland, where Sunderland, obviously, they lost out on a last-minute penalty to pick up all 3 points. It was a crazy 4-4 game, at the Stadium of Light. Absolutely entertaining and enthralling stuff in the Championship, which is why I love it. But I think with this game here, I think Cardiff are going to be a little bit more at it. They've got more to play for. They've really got to try and ensure that survival within the final 6 games of the season now. As a prediction, I think I'm leaning towards Cardiff and Sabri Namucci doing a job with this team. I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Cardiff. I think it'll be quite close, but I think they'll edge out. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game today is Coventry going up against Watford. I feel like with Watford, they just want the season to end right now. Anything that could go wrong is going wrong. There's chance against the ownership there, and typically when there's that fan-owner disconnect, we tend to see things really start to crumble, and then performances have just really been reflective of that on the pitch as well. Watford even took the lead against Huddersfield quite early on, but then obviously Huddersfield had a massive fight back, and Watford really could not deal with it. They lost their heads in the end as well, with Daniel Batman getting red carded, their number 1 goalkeeper. That's going to prove to be a really big miss, since he'll be gone, I believe, for 2 to 3 games now. So I think Coventry, with this game, they drew against Swansea. Not a terrible result, but definitely they would have wanted to pick up all 3 points if they want to try and get into the top 6. This is a good opportunity with Watford to kick them while they're down, and Coventry really do need those 3 points to try and maintain competition with the chasing pack getting into the top 6. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory to Coventry. I think they may go back to winning ways here. I just don't see Watford particularly getting anything out of this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game today is Hull versus Millwall. So Hull with nothing really to play for, with Millwall still a lot to play for. So Hull and both Millwall actually were involved in draws, but definitely very different games for what we saw. Obviously with Hull, I talked about that 4-4 draw, and I got to give a shout out to Simon Desch and Osman Tufan, 2 fantastic players, which I think have really been under the radar with a lot of teams, standout players in the Championship this season. They've really done a cracking job with Hull. And with Millwall, they were involved in a 0-0 draw of Luton. Could they have had a penalty decision near the end? I think they were a little bit unfortunate to not get a decision go their way. But it ended as a draw. And to be fair, with it being a top 6 pointer, that's not the end of the world, considering also Blackburn losing a game as well. It meant they actually made a tiny bit of ground from that at the moment, which is all good news for them. Going into this game, I think with Millwall's added pressure of trying to secure into the top 6, I feel like I should back them at the moment. They're doing quite well with their form. I'm going to go for 1-0 away victory. I just have a feeling it's not going to be full of goal-mouth action. So I'm going to go for a very scrappy but a scraped 1-0 win for Millwall. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Luton versus Blackpool. So Luton obviously may have been a bit disappointed not to pick up 3 points in the last game, but it's a very tough game to get anything at the Den, as I said in my previous predictions video. And they did well, to be fair, to keep another clean sheet as well. And Luton have been doing such a great job with that. Blackpool, on the other hand, are literally right in turmoil right now. They've departed company with Mick McCarthy. The club find themselves on 35 points, 7 points of safety now with 6 games left. It's really not looking good. When you've got more points to try and close down than you have with games left, I always start thinking, right, this is the form that I'm expecting the relegated teams to have, and it's just not worked out, unfortunately. There was one great result, obviously, with QPR, but other than that, it has been a shocking appointment of Mick McCarthy. 4 defeats in their last 5, and it's not really helped Blackpool's chances of survival as well. And no team has lost more games in the Championship than Blackpool. Not even QPR have lost those, and Huddersfield have lost as many games as Blackpool has had. As a prediction, with how good Luton have been, I was thinking 3-0. I'm going to actually go 2-0 and give Blackpool a tiny bit of respect, but I think Luton could have a little bit of fun with this game. So I'll go 2-0 Luton. Let me know what you think about in the comments down below. The next game to predict is Norwich going up against Rotherham, which I think is a crucial game for Norwich especially. Norwich managing to get a 2-0 win against Blackburn, getting their revenge over Blackburn as well after they lost against them in the reverse fixture 2-0 at Carrow Road, which I think was actually Dean Smith's last game for Norwich as well, if I remember that right as well. That response has really given them a big amount of optimism now. They're only 1 point off the top 6 from Blackburn. Yes, Blackburn have a game in hand, but that game in hand is against Burnley. I mean, who knows how Burnley are going to perform now that they're promoted, but it is still a very tough game for Blackburn to get results. And one reason I was kind of backing Blackburn to get into that top 6 was their great home form. But if they churn out their home form like this, I don't think Blackburn will get in. But it leaves a brilliant opportunity for Norwich to take that place. They face a Rotherham team who I think they are up there for one of the best results of the Championship last weekend, beating West Brom by 3-1. Jordan Hugill scoring a brace against his former club, where they didn't really give him too many opportunities. I think it was very satisfying for his part to get one over his former employees here. As a prediction, I back Norwich. I think with their quality in their midfield to their attack, I think they've got that a little bit more than Rotherham do. Rotherham's away form is not great. So as a prediction, I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory to Norwich. But I think it's going to be an interesting contest. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Preston Reading. Now, Preston are really starting to sneak into the conversation of the top 6. They're only 2 points off Blackburn. Obviously, they played a game more, but like I said, Blackburn have got that game in hand going up against Burnley. So Preston have really started to sneak into this race. Preston's only defeat actually in their last 5 games was that 4-0 defeat to Middlesbrough, but the other 4 games they had in their last 5 have turned out to be wins. Their form, Preston, has really started to take a bit of a revival since Preston lost to Burnley the way that they did, and they've really responded. I've got to give credit to that Preston team, and the shout out goes to Tom Cannon because he's really starting to chip in with the goals and is showing that consistency. Reading have now got to really adjust their expectations now. They drew against Birmingham, which without the 6-point deduction wouldn't have been a terrible result, but now they have fallen into the bottom 3 with that points deduction. Reading have really got to start picking up wins, but away from home, just like with Rotherham, it is not great at all. So as a prediction, whilst I think it's actually going to be a very competitive and close game, I think Preston will edge out by a 1-0 win. Preston as well, alongside Luton, are good with clean sheets, so I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Preston. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is West Brom QPR. Is the suffering ever going to end for QPR? I think, likewise with Watford, QPR just want the season to end as soon as possible, and they would really want the season to end literally right now because they are only 1 point off the bottom 3. Reading are really sniffing them down. Their goal difference has taken a big hit. Huddersfield and Cardiff have got a better goal difference than QPR now, despite having the same points as them. It's really tight, but right now, with the way that their form is going, it's really not looking too great. And QPR's only win, actually, in recent times was against Watford, a struggling Watford side with a 1-0 win. But since then, they've had 4 defeats in a row and have really now up against it. West Brom in the middle of the park in the Championship, and a very disappointing result losing to Rotherham the way that they did. And they're winners in their last 3. If they really don't pick up wins ASAP, I think it's going to be a very tricky task for West Brom to get into that top 6. I really think they should win this one to really just spice up the competition of the chasing pack of the top 6. As a prediction, I just don't see QPR picking points anytime soon, unfortunately. So as a prediction, I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to West Brom. I'm actually going to give QPR a little bit of a chance, but I'm going to say 2-1. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next game to predict is Wigan versus Swansea. Wigan, rock bottom of the Championship. They narrowly lost out to second place Sheffield United by 1-0. And I can see defensively they've actually worked on some things. It's a shame that they really didn't get that defensive stability sooner. And that early goal from Iliman Ndiaye really just killed Wigan's chances to potentially get something out from that game. Swansea were involved in the very, very stale 0-0 draw with Coventry, of course, as I previously mentioned. And I think likewise in this game here, I think it's going to be a very low scoring game. Wigan really needs to throw all their bells and whistles to this game if they want to have any chance of survival, in my opinion, because right now the gap is 8 points and it can extend to 11 for being the worst case scenario. As a prediction, I'm going to go for a 1-0 away win to Swansea. As I said, I don't think there'll be many goals, but I just have a sneaky feeling that Swansea have got that quality that they can just nick it. But it wouldn't surprise me if Wigan actually do get something, maybe even a draw. But I'm going to go 1-0 Swansea. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now we go to the later games. So let's go for Bristol City versus Middlesbrough first. Bristol City picked up a brilliant result actually against Stoke City, a little bit out of nowhere because Bristol City's form had been kind of stale in the past couple of games. You know, I've been thinking that Bristol City have kind of, you know, put their foot off the gas, not got much to play for, a little bit on the beach, but it's a great result actually to pick something up against their mid-table rivals as well. Then they face a Middlesbrough team where how distraught are they going to feel after the game that they played against Burnley? Are they going to move on and to secure their place within the top six, which I really do think they nearly are secure within the top six. You know, a couple of points, I think they would do it. But at this moment of time, is Middlesbrough's focus going to shift on hoping that Sheffield United drop points because they've got a tough game, Sheffield United? Because if Middlesbrough could get something against Bristol City and pick up 3 points and Sheffield United lose against Burnley, the gap will be close to 6 points, having played a game more, however. So they're going to have to rely on a lot of luck, I think, Middlesbrough. I think playoffs is nearly written, signed, sealed and delivered for them. A prediction here, I think that it's going to be a 1-1 draw, actually. I just don't think it's a straightforward game for Middlesbrough. Away from home, they've not been too convincing as of late. So I'm actually going to go for a 1-1 and give Bristol City some credit. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Final game to predict, of course, as I mentioned, it's first versus second. Burnley versus Sheffield United. Burnley, who are already promoted, Sheffield United could be following suit very, very soon. And what better way for Sheffield United to nearly wrap up promotion to get 3 points against the team that's already been promoted at the shortest time of asking in Burnley. So actually, only Reading's 106-point team have picked up more points at this stage of the season than Burnley, which is an insane stat. And obviously, as I kept mentioning in my live streams, Burnley have been promoted in the championship, on a modern day championship, I should specify, in the quickest time, beating the 106-point Reading team, beating the Leicester team that amassed over 100 points, and of course beating that dominant Newcastle side as well. So honestly, it was absolutely incredible to see what sort of achievement that they put there. Sheffield United will be determined, I feel, to get something there. Obviously, in the reverse fixture, it was a very enjoyable day for a Blades fan, winning 5-2 against this Burnley side. They also managed to win against Wigan as well. You know, not a pretty win, but a win is a win in the end of the day. And right now, they're really starting to get a lot of space now between them and the top 6. And a win here would definitely really help their chances. As a prediction, I'm actually going to go for a 1-1 draw. I can't really edge either one of those teams. It wouldn't surprise me if Burnley just continue as they are. They've got that ruthless mentality, which I just love within any team in the Championship. You know, they are really taking the Championship by storm. They've already broken one record, and I cannot imagine that they're not going to set their eyes off any others. I just think against Sheffield United is going to be difficult. I think potentially Burnley may be a little bit too complacent, you know that they've not got too much to play for now. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. So guys, that is my predictions for the second part of the Championship now concluded. Make sure guys you comment your predictions in the comments down below so you guys can get involved in calculating the Lexalexus Football Prediction League, which is really hotting up now near the end of the season, which is very exciting. If you guys enjoyed it today, please give the video a like. It just really help the growth of this channel if you do. Please do hit the subscribe button. It really does help. My socials are down here if you do want to give a follow as well. Please share the channel too, because these things really do help. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw me in this video, and as always, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, everyone.